Good morning. In our last class, we were discussing the physical IoT devices such as Arduino and Raspberry Pi. We saw how those two are helpful in building our own computers. So, within that, we were studying how to program Arduino. So, within that, we studied two methods, that is setup and loop. So setup method will run only once in the beginning, whereas the loop method will keep on executing until the program is terminated externally. So next we shall see how to declare the variables. So as I mentioned in the last class, so the entire Arduino programming is similar to C programming, or in the other way if you want to put, so the entire C programming is embedded with the Arduino commands. So we can also say it that way. So declaring variables. So just like C program, we have to declare the variable type followed by variable name, then the assignment operator followed by the value. So we can look at here. So the two variables are declared over here, delay time and green LED is equal to 9. So in the setup, so we are declaring the green light as the output. Now when the pin mode command is executed, so the green light is replaced with the value 9 and it is declared as a output, which means now the pin number 9 is configured as a output port. In the loop, instead of explicitly mentioning the pin number, we are mentioning it using a variable. So instead of writing the pin number 9, we are writing it as a green LED. So in the example which we discussed in our last class, in that, in place of green LED, we had explicitly mentioned the pin number. So delay also, we can pass a variable. So here it is a 2 seconds delay. So whatever variables we declare outside the functions, they are global variables. So look at this particular example. So here again, we are declaring delay time 2000, green LED pin number 9. Then in the setup, green LED, it is pin number 9 is configured as output. In the loop, we will turn on the LED, delay for some time, then turn off the LED and reduce the delay. So we are subtracting 100 from the delay time to gradually increase the LED's blinking speed. So if delay is reduced, then obviously the blinking speed will keep on decreasing. So at one point of time it will reach 0 and we will no longer be able to identify whether the LED is on or off. So Arduino code also supports the conditional statements. So if statement, it is similar to C programming. So if statements are executed based on the condition, if it is true. If the condition is false, then the statements are not executed. So this is useful in making the decisions. For example, if the temperature value is greater than a threshold, then some part of the code will be executed. Else some other portion of the code will be executed. So look at this particular example. So in the if statement, so many conditions can be included. So all these conditions should either evaluate to either true or false for greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So all these type of conditional operators are supported. So and all of them will evaluate to either true or false. So general syntax of if statement: if true, in place of true we can write any condition, some actions will be performed. So consider this particular code. A global counter is initialized with 0. Then in the setup, serial dot begin 9600. So it will begin the serial communication. In the loop part, we will be evaluating the counter variable. So if counter is less than 10, then serial dot println counter. So counter value will be printed on the console. Then the counter will be incremented each time. So how many times the if condition will get executed? So that depends on the counter value. So counter value will start with 0. So 0 is less than 10. So counter will be printed. Next, the counter is incremented by 1. So till counter value reaches 9, it will be printed on the console. And once the counter value crosses 10, so nothing will be printed on the console. But still the loop function will be executed repeatedly. So input and output. So transferring data from computer to Arduino is done using a serial transmission. So this is done using a USB port. So using which we can, from the IDE, we can dump the code to Arduino. To set up the serial communication, so we have to use serial dot begin method. So serial dot begin 9600. So this is a standard number. So now serial dot println hello world. So now what happens for this 9600? We are writing the hello world. So now what happens in the computer? The hello world will be printed on the console screen. So similar to if condition, we have if else condition. So if the condition is true, some action will be performed, else some other part or some other action will be executed. So one such example we can look over here. The same counter example. So counter will start at 0. Serially we were communicating with the computer using 9600 serial communication. Then each time the counter will be checked. If it is less than 10, we'll print less than 10, else greater than or equal to 10. Once it reaches the 10, we are ending the serial communication using the serial dot end. So here all these messages will be printed on a computer that is connected to Arduino board. So another example. So similar to if else, we can have else if ladder. So if counter is less than 10, it will print less than 10. If it is equal to 10, it will print equal to 10, else greater than 10. So which means all the flavors of if conditions are supported in Arduino programming also. That is if statement, if else, followed by else if ladder. Then we have Boolean operators. So Boolean operators include and, or, and not. So this is a logical and operator. So double ampersand is used just like C programming. So which means if we have more than one condition to test, then all of them can be linked together using the Boolean operator and. So here this particular Boolean operator and will produce the result true if both the conditions are true. If any one of them is false, then the end result of Boolean operator and will be false. So similarly, OR logic. So this will produce the result as true if either any one of them is true. So when both of them are false, the output of the OR operator will be false. So Boolean variables can also be declared. So Boolean done is equal to true. So then again that particular value can be initialized to false also, and in the if condition we are using the negation operator. So not equal to done, it will print the hello world. So initial value of done is true, next it is made as false, here negation of false is true, so it will print hello world. So now done is equal to true. So once again when the execution starts at loop, it will check the done value is true, negation of true is false, so this if portion is skipped. So some other important functions in Arduino include serial.println, which we have already used. So it prints the value on a serial monitor on the computer. So there will be a IDE that is connected. So on that IDE is console window. It is also called as a serial monitor window. On that, the whatever value that is passed will be printed. So anyway, pin mode we have already studied to configure a digital pin either as a input or output. Then digital read. So this reads a digital value from a particular pin. The read value from that pin can be either high or low. So digital write, for a particular pin, we can write either high value or low value. So another essential part in embedded systems is the delay portion. Suppose if we are reading the temperature value at regular intervals, so maybe we will decide based on the application whether to read the temperature value at every 1 second or 30 seconds or for every hour. So once we read the value, for the next 1 hour, we should not read the value once again, because our application never demands the temperature value at each microsecond or nanosecond. So what do our system do in between that 1 hour? So that is where the delay becomes essential. It is also useful whenever we want to synchronize the events. So we want to read the input, but we never know whether the device is ready or not. So for that particular purpose, we'll have a delay function that will synchronize the events and reads the input with a specific sample frequency. So it is just similar to the wait. So how to build our own delay function if we want? So for example, in this program, you can look at how we will be utilizing the system clock frequency to build our own delay method. So each CPU will have its own clock. So that is the built-in time. So each tick is equal to 1 divided by the frequency. So time is equal to 1 by frequency. So assuming that if we are using a 16-bit processor, an increment and jump instruction is of 1 cycle each, and it is a 10 megahertz speed system clock. How to build a 1 second delay? Now the system clock which we are using is a 10 megahertz. So 1 divided by 10 megahertz is equal to 100 nanoseconds. So 100 nanosecond is a time period. So executing one instruction will consume 100 nanoseconds. Now, if we want a delay of 1 second, then how many time periods are required? So that is the delay time, that is 1 second, divided by the time period of the clock, that is 100 nanoseconds. So it is equal to almost 10 million. Or if you put it in terms of lakhs, so it is 1 lakh. Yeah. So it is not 1 million, it is 1 crore. Suppose let us see how to build our own delay function. For this particular purpose, we can use the system clock frequency. So each processor will have its own clock. So each tick or each duration or time period will be the reciprocal of frequency. So for example, consider we are dealing with a 16-bit processor, and an increment and jump instruction will consume 1 cycle of the time, and this processor clock speed is 10 megahertz, and we require a 1 second delay. So in order to accomplish 1 second delay, we must calculate how many instructions needs to be executed. So for that, first we have to calculate the time period. T is equal to 1 divided by frequency. So frequency is 10 megahertz. So time period is 100 nanoseconds. So each instruction will consume 100 nanoseconds to execute. So which means in order to have a delay of 1 second, how many time periods we need? So that is 1 second divided by 100 nanoseconds, yielding this value. So this is equal to 1 crore. So now we can have this int variable I is equal to, so half of this value, because we'll have 2 instructions for 1 iteration. So this 1 crore, so here we have taken 50 lakhs. So I is equal to 50 lakh. Then we are decrementing the value of I. If I is not equal to 0, we'll go back. So this is a label. So go to statement is also supported in C. So we'll go back. So 2 instructions are associated with 1 iteration. So that's why the I is initialized to half of this value. So now what happens? It will consume 1 second to come out of this looping. And this is how we can build the delay timers in our application. So infinite loops. So embedded systems will be performing a single function each time. Their core application is it never terminates. So if we consider any embedded device like our smartwatch, so it will always keep on working, so it will never terminate unless the battery gets exhausted. Maybe our air conditioner, so from the time we switch on the device until there is a power connection, it will continue to work. So each time our air conditioner will check the room temperature, verify it with the set temperature by the user. If it is less, then it will stop the cooling process. If the room temperature is greater than the set or the threshold temperature, then it will start working once again. So like that, each embedded device will be in a continuous infinite loop performing the actions. So infinite loop is not an error as long as the action that it is performing is correct. So how to have an infinite loops? So yeah, main method we can write here. We have three kinds of lights, that is red, orange and green. So and we are writing the loop, that is light is equal to red, then delay of 20 seconds, then light is equal to orange, then delay 20 seconds, light is equal to green, delay 20 seconds. Now go to loop. So which means without checking any condition, this go to statement will jump to loop. Just repeat the sequence. So can you identify which application is associated with these lights? So red, orange, green. So it is the traffic signal. So if we have so many lights, we can decide the time based on which it will become red, then it will become, after some time it will become orange, then it will become green. So these time delays between switching from red to orange, orange to green can be adjusted according to the traffic requirement. So if there are many number of roads connecting to that particular traffic signal, then the time gap between this red to orange will be more and orange to green will be less. So the time delay after green is the set timer duration for which the traffic is allowed to move in that particular road. So once that time elapses, then again the light will become red. So this is about infinite looping. So for today's class, we can stop till here. So with this, we completed the basic requirements of Arduino programming. So in our next class, so we shall take up the another physical device similar to Arduino, that is Raspberry Pi.